my brothers and sisters from where we get along.
And welcome back to The Human Experience with me, your host, Tasha Simpson. We are here with the one and only Chris McCandless from Into the Wild. So Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing swell. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. So I just have a couple questions, if that's okay with you.
Sure, go right ahead.
So, why did you leave your home in the first place?
Well, I noticed that people were so materialistic. They don't notice their surroundings and live life like a robot, consumed by their daily schedules.
Okay, I see.
Also, my parents were quite controlling of me. They tell me what to do and how to live my life. I got sick of it and wanted to go find myself and then maybe come back, but it didn't go as I had planned.
Well, that's pretty reasonable. But when you left, did you ever think about how your family felt and how worried they must have been?
Well, at first, things were quite dandy. I didn't think much about my family. It didn't matter. They shouldn't have controlled me that much. I spent time out in the wilderness, catching my own food, fending for myself, without the help of my parents, and I was doing fine. But as days passed, it gave me so much time to think. I actually had time where I missed the comfort of home. But what did they care?
Okay, but did you ever think of them and not about you? Don't you think it was kind of selfish of you?
Well, at first, yes, but it's my life and I should be able to do what I want with it. So. Okay, to be honest, I felt bad seeing the reaction of my family after my death. I mean, though I didn't plan on dying, it was selfish of me not to think about my family or the position they were in. And, they were there for me, and I did respect that, so.
That was very touching, Chris. I understand where you're coming from. But thank you for your time. Now let's bring out the motherly figure of Chris's life, Jan Burris. Well, hello, Jan. Beautiful day, isn't it?
Hello. Well, yes, it is.
So I just have a couple of questions to ask about Chris McCandless, if that's okay.
No, yeah, sure, go right ahead, sweetie.
So what was your relationship like with Chris?
Well, he was like a son to me, since my real son and I are estranged from each other. It felt like we had a deeper connection. Bob and I felt like we had a son again. We had so many great memories together. I remember sitting by the campfire. We would just be talking all night long for hours and hours. I became emotional after we dropped him off near the Anza Borrego Desert, and I really didn't want to leave him there. I felt the need to protect him and have him under my wing.
Ah, I see. So since you were like a mother figure to him, were you worried after he left?
Well, of course I was. Chris meant a great deal to me, and learning about his death really crushed me. It was like losing another son, basically. I don't think Chris knew how I felt about him. I think if he did, he wouldn't have left.
That was very touching. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Jan. We'll be right back to The Human Experience after these messages.
Sponsored by Wayne Westerberg.
I fart, you eat.
Welcome back to The Human Experience. I'm Michelle Tran, and I will be taking the place of Tasha Simpson because she's on a break. Now let's bring in Chris's sister, Corrine McCandless.
Thank you, Michelle. Hello.
Okay, well, how are you today?
I'm doing just fine. How about you?
I'm doing good. So I have a couple questions to ask you. Is that fine?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, so how did you feel when Chris left and hardly wrote you?
It was hard not knowing where he was, what he was up to, or how he was doing. I was worried nonstop. Chris was my older brother. We got along so well. We had many of the same qualities, and we were good at similar things. Getting the few letters from him meant a lot, and I will forever cherish them.
Yes, I'm glad that he at least talked to you a bit. Well, how did you feel, and how did you react after finding out about his death?
I didn't know how to react or what to feel when I heard Chris was gone. There was so much I wanted to still do with him and say to him. I felt beyond sad, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I fell to the ground and couldn't believe it. I started crying hysterically. My own brother was gone and isn't coming back. Devastating. Just devastating.
I can certainly agree that it is such a devastating thing to lose your brother. Now, thank you for spending time with us on The Human Experience. Have a nice rest of your day.
Thank you.
It is important that we do not push the ones that love us away, because in the end, they will be the ones that will be there for us. They will love us for who we are, no matter what we do.
So even if you stray far away from home, your family will always have open arms for you to come back to. Though it's all really up to you to decide whether you want your family or not, they will always wait for you.
Just like Chris, even though he left his family and didn't talk to them much, they still wanted him to come home and be with them again. It just goes to show that Chris wasn't truly happy by going through his adventures alone. He needed someone to share that with. Happiness is only real when shared. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye.
So wake me up.